Well, hello YouTube. It's Thursday night. I actually managed to get up and leave my apartment on Thursday, Thursday being my day off, as opposed to just staying in bed and sleeping right through it and not getting up until sometime on Friday. Now, of course, I didn't make it up by I almost missed that accomplishment. It's 11:52 p.m. so I'm a whopping 8 minutes away from Friday. By the way, the date, Thursday, January, I can't read it because it's on my screen on my Obama phone is horribly shattered, so it's very difficult to read where it puts the date. Thursday, January 12th, 2023. I had no real plans for today. In fact, I kind of expected I would end up just sleeping through the entire day. I mean, I had some things I wanted to try to do, but I figured the chances were good I would end up sleeping through the entire day, just because I worked 6 days straight at Amazon, and I do have trouble sleeping straight through the day on most days. My normal seems to be these days where I get home, fall asleep later than I want to fall asleep, wake up much earlier than I want to wake up after only sleeping between 1 and 3 hours, and then lay awake in my bed messing around with my phones, mostly on YouTube, although also on Reddit. Seem to be the only spots I really go anymore. In fact, I uninstalled TikTok from my iPhone just to make space, some available space for editing and saving video. And I don't think I ever installed TikTok on my Obama phone. So, yeah, just pretty much just Reddit and YouTube. That's where I'm spending my life while laying alone in bed, wishing I could get back to sleep. Eventually I get back to sleep, and end up going to end up sleeping pretty deeply. And then there's the struggle of, will my alarms wake me up? Pretty excited this last 6 day stretch. It's my first 6 day stretch of continuous days of work. So, so 60 hours of Amazon. I did manage to get up on time all 6 days. The week before I didn't. The week before it was a stretch of 5 days, and I overslept on 2 of them. I do wake up on time most of the time, but the amount that I oversleep is enough that if I worked for anywhere other than Amazon, I surely have been let go by now. I'm pretty confident of that. Slow, and the guy behind me not going a whole lot faster. All right. Anyway, so yeah, but by the time a day comes where I don't have to get up, I end up sleeping a lot. That's pretty much what happened today. I really wanted to get over to Rob's shop and work on getting my Mercedes moved, because that still hasn't happened yet. I don't know if I've talked about it on my vlog yet. sure. At some point yesterday, I texted Rob to ask him if he'd been able to get my Benz started. Because the last I had heard from him was that he hadn't been able to put the battery on the charger. So there's no point in me going there until he's at least made it through the routine of, you know, getting the car started, starting it, see if it's going to drive, and then the next step was that I was going to drive it, and if the transmission did its thing where it slips into neutral and it just won't go, then I was going to he was gonna either, well, he was planning on pulling me, but I figured at that point I just kind of put it to the side of the road and just hit AAA up as if, you know, hey, I just did, yeah, this is where I broke down, tow me home, since I've got that kind of coverage with AAA. Anyway, yeah, Rob had texted me back, so the last I'd heard is that he hadn't gotten around to doing his first step, which was charging the battery. Anyway, that time he did text me back right away, and he said that it was going to need towed because I think he said he did get it to start. And now I'm like wondering if he really did, or if he just decided it wasn't, he didn't want to put the effort out. I don't know. Second, overthinking, overanalyzing, and ended up separating my body from my mind. Yeah. Anyway, what he said, I'm hoping he's telling the truth, is that he got it started, got it charged, got it started, and that the transmission is absolutely shot. It won't go into gear at all. It's going to need to be towed. And then he said that he had a guy, but that his guy would want to charge $60 for it. To which I responded that I wasn't going to have any money until Friday, which I've been telling him for several days. You know, once I paid all my bills for the month, and the ones that show up shortly after the month, I went through what little was left in my bank account and paid through some big chunks of my credit card balances, which are disturbingly high at the moment, and in hopes that I will get bled a little bit dry last month by the interest being charged by these different credit card companies, which I keep hearing is going up. I keep hearing, well, the Fed is raising the interest rates. Fed is raising the interest rates. Credit card rates are going up. I don't recall ever getting any notice from any of my credit cards that my interest rate is going up on any of them. Of course, it could be they mailed those notices out. I really don't check my mail anymore, so maybe I got that in the mail and I just didn't open it, didn't read it. To be honest, it doesn't look like I'm paying any more interest. If I am, it was such a small incremental amount that it's not really affecting me. My guess is when I keep hearing on the news that, credit cards are charging higher interest rates, credit cards are charging higher interest rates, that could mean for new customers opening new lines of credit, and that the ones that I have that are already established should just kind of stand where they are. I'm not a finance guy, so I really don't know, and I really don't pay attention to my accounts as much as I probably should. If I did, it'd probably depress me, and God knows I'm depressed enough as it is. Oh, this fool only doing 50 miles per hour on this transition ramp. Come on, dude. There is nobody in front of you. How high are you that you're driving that slow? Anyway, I am really curious if he started it up now that I'm thinking about it. Now that I'm thinking, wonder if he just said, now that I'm thinking to myself, wow, I wonder if he just said that just because he didn't want to deal with charging the battery, taking the battery out, putting the battery back in, trying to get it to start. Maybe he just didn't feel like doing that much work. God knows I don't feel like doing that much work. And decided it was better to just say that that's what the situation was and it needs to be towed. To be fair, the last time I tried to drive it, and this is before a year and a half of sitting, it only made it 1 mile before the transmission just slipped into neutral. So yeah, it probably needed to be towed anyway. I would just feel a lot better if before I take it home, if it's got a nice full charge battery and I can at least sit in it, turn over the key and start it. That would certainly increase my odds of being able to sell the damn thing. Or, I don't know if I'm selling it. The plan is to kind of part it out, but I'm sure at some point I'm going to probably try to sell the motor or the drivetrain with bad transmission, at which point it would be a lot easier to sell if I can, have them come out and say, well, yeah, I'm stripping all the trim and interior, all the trim and stuff out of it and selling it on eBay. But we can work something out where you can come here with a cherry picker and pull it out, or we can tow it to your place, you can pull it out, bring the chassis back here, blah blah blah. But by the way, here, let's start it up. Listen to the motor. The motor's good. Anyway, I don't know if I really did that, but anyway, so I told him that I wouldn't, and I've been telling him I'm not going to have enough extra cash to do that till Friday. I actually had the extra cash to do it today. My bank, my Wells Fargo bank, has started doing this thing where sometimes my direct deposit shows up a day, sometimes even 2 days earlier than it should through some kind of program, like Get Paid Early or something. I don't know what the hell we call it. But basically, if it's a direct deposit from a reputable employer that's been consistently placing direct deposits on a certain date, at some point they get information about how much that deposit is going to be, and even though they don't have the money available yet, they just make the funds available. My guess is it's just something that Wells Fargo is doing to try to stop people from switching to online banks that charge lower fees, and from what I've heard, offer those type of services such as Chime and Albert. I'm going to talk more about Albert later, but I don't know much to say just about what's going on with me and Albert. So anyway, so I was kind of thinking today would be a good day to handle that. Turns out I spent pretty much the entire day unconscious and didn't message Rob at all. He didn't message me at all. So at least he's not expecting me to hand him up till tomorrow to handle that. So at least I didn't make plans with him and then let him down. So that's all in all a good thing. That's where I'm at with that. In case you're wondering where I'm going, I don't feel like talking about that. I'll get to it. Anything else I want to talk about? Let's see. I can't remember if I shot video going home from work yesterday or not. That's pretty bad. I should remember that, but sometimes when I sleep for such a long period of time, my memories from the previous day are very, very spotty, and my memories of yesterday are pretty spotty. I can remember going to work. I feel like I shot a vlog on the way to work, on part of the commute, going home. I'm trying really hard to remember the commute going home and what route I took. I did shoot a vlog yesterday. I remember now. That's right, because I went to, I left kind of late because whoa, that cop was in a hurry. Damn straight you need to turn on your lights if you're driving like that, idiot. Well, I'm headed in the general direction of Metro Center, so probably somebody got shot. That's what we call Thursday night in this part of town. Hard to believe this is the area I grew up in, and it used to be like a nice, solidly middle-class area. Although, let's be real, there's really no such thing as a solid middle class anymore. So that's just something that people my age remembered. You're either above it or you're below it these days, or you're struggling really, really hard to give the appearance that you're in it. Now, I gave up on appearances years ago. I don't like to be the guy passing on the right, but this guy is not moving over to the right as he should while driving as slow as he's driving. just jumped the rails again. Oh yeah, so I did vlog on the way home yesterday. I think I mostly talked about just why I ended up shopping at Fry's and the whole traffic scenario that led to that, so no point in repeating that. If you want to watch that, you can watch the previous video, which will be Dan vlog with one number lower than this one has. Anyway, now like I said, no real plans for today. The only thing I really wanted to kind of work on today was moving my car, which absolutely didn't happen. Now, I have been chatting periodically throughout the last couple of weeks with Jazzy, who I've mentioned before, is a girl that used to regularly come over to Moloch's, sometimes work there part-time as a cocktail waitress, who I've just had this mad crush on for about 2 years. And I really don't know how she feels about me. Sometimes she makes me feel like she's interested in me and more than just in ways that are beyond just a friend. And other times she just kind of comes off like a really caring friend. And other times it's like she doesn't even notice I'm there, which is the way most people treat me. So I tend not to think too much of it. And sometimes I think that's brought on by myself, just kind of perpetually being in my own world. So. Oh, I totally forgot. I heard on the radio yesterday that there was going to be some construction and lane restrictions and closures on this part of I-17. Glad they're southbound and not stuck in that. And when I heard about those closures on KTAR like yesterday or the day before, I just remember thinking to myself, oh, well, I never drive on that stretch of I-17. No plans on doing that anytime in the near future, so not my problem. And here I am, driving on the stretch of I-17. So, anyway, so I've been messaging her pretty regularly, and I remember right around the time Priscilla moved out, or was right at the time I booted her out, but then she kept like coming back. I was like, hadn't found a place, working on finding a place, but I changed the lock, changed the lock, so I could pretty much lock her out at any time. I want to say last August-ish. I think at one point she'd actually, I don't remember exactly on my timeline where it happened, because my memories tend to get fuzzy, which is why I'm making this vlog. She had offered to come over and help me clean. She meaning Jazzy. And I've been getting strong. She could be interested in me in intimate ways, maybe. God knows I rarely lack the nerve to make a first move, because that kind of rejection just fucks me up like nothing else. But which often makes me kind of wish, God, maybe I'd be a lot happier if I was weren't a woman. Not like I'm thinking about transitioning, because that's not happening at all. But I've never been comfortable with approaching women and making the first move on women. It's actually kind of bewildering that I've been with as many women as I have been, which is, from what I've read, is way beyond the statistical average. Considering that I am so afraid of making the first move. And the funny thing is, a lot of the long-term relationships I've had have initiated in one of two ways. Liquid courage, and I ended up jumping in bed with him right away, and it was and it just continued. I mean, shit, that pretty much explains my wife, that explains Priscilla. The other direction it's gone with me is somebody who had been interested in me for a long period of time, couldn't understand why I never made the first move, and then some kind of happenstance happened where I finally did, and then suddenly we're an item, and then a while later, as we're more comfortable around each other, and can talk about such things, she's like, well, I've been waiting for you to do that for years, and I'm just like, well, why didn't you? And that would pretty much that would sum up Tracy for sure. I often feel it's like my lost soulmate. Some of my other like longer relationships would kind of fall into that category too. Other romantic flings, but I'm kind of drawing a blank, and other ones I could tie a name to. It's kind of bad. Like my memory tends to fall apart to the point that if I was to try to make a list of every woman I've had intimate relations with, I don't think I could put names on most of them at this point, which sucks. I wish I had better power of recollection of that sort of thing. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, I've never really put any solid moves on Jazzy, and a lot of that's because I've never really ended things with Priscilla. Although in some ways it feels like that's been over for years, but in other ways it still continues. I mean, she sent me a text tonight asking if I wanted to come over, to which I was really tired. I looked at that and I didn't reply to it. I just rolled over and went back to sleep. Because I'm thinking to myself, well, why? I know part of me wanted to respond. That depends. You gonna let me eat your pussy? But I didn't. I didn't text that. I thought about it. I definitely thought about it. Oh, my angle changed on my phone out somewhere. I hate the style of Phoenix Road. It's just big wide slab of lanes and center block fence on each side for the better part of a mile with a narrow ass sidewalk, and maybe if you're lucky a painted bicycle gutter. Yeah, this is definitely pedestrian hostile infrastructure. And I'm glad I don't live in this part of town anymore. Wow, and I see some police activity up ahead that I'm going to be having to drive past. Anyway, so yeah, not much else to say about Priscilla. We didn't have plans, so it's not like I made plans with her and let her down. I'm not really sure what time the text message, because like when I'm sleeping, like I'll wake up and I'll kind of look at my phone. I might respond to a message, or I might just look at it and be like, just rather go back to sleep than deal with this. And then yeah, that's what happens. But yeah, seeing that, I'm looking at that and like go over there so I could be sexually frustrated by looking at your body, maybe sort of touching your body, but not going any farther. Yeah, no, that's not my idea of a good time. In fact, that's more miserable than laying in bed alone, just sleeping all the time. So no. So yeah, I did actually respond to her as I was getting dressed and decided I was going to go ahead and go out, even though it's damn near midnight, and obviously it's after midnight now. It's like 12:16. So super, it's going to be less than 2 hours before bar close when I finally get somewhere. There's a good chance she probably already went to sleep by now. But I think I responded with a text that said something along the lines of that I didn't think my sexual frustration could handle that at the moment, and just left that where it landed. And she hasn't responded to that, so more likely than not, she's asleep. So I'm trying to go to a bar in this general part of town. I have no idea where it is. I should have maybe Googled it to find out the address. And I'm at 43rd and Union Hills, which is so far from my world that I really don't know. Ah, there it is. On the right, 007 Pub. That's where I'm headed. Well, part of me wants to continue to tell my story, but this is where I'm headed, so I guess I'm going to have to explain why I came here in my next video, and what ended up happening with Jazzy in my next video, because I did actually have some substantial contact with Jazzy today on Snapchat. But in the meantime, I'm going in here. So thanks for coming with me on this drive. Can you hear that? I hear a familiar voice.